For at least the remainder of his current contract, Minkah Fitzpatrick will have a steady presence next to him. The Steelers are reportedly signing DeShon Elliott to a new 2-year contract extension, and that gives Fitzpatrick stability. He has had to do without that for a bit, so I'm sure he's excited about the change. Although it's not all consistency, as one cornerback spot has been a revolving door. From Patrick Peterson to Dante Jackson to Darius Slay, the Steelers lack a long-term answer opposite Joey Porter Jr. Minkah Fitzpatrick believes Slay will help the rest of the secondary just play their game, though. He told reporters, for example, that he won't feel the need to cheat to one side. Confident Slay will perform. After a year of playing with Elliott, I'm sure Fitzpatrick is confident in him as well. Elliott was a nice signing last year, and the Steelers obviously agreed. Early in his career, Fitzpatrick had Terrell Edmunds as a steady presence next to him. Perhaps he can finish his Steelers career, with Elliott being that guy. Of course, the question of Minkah Fitzpatrick's future is not an insignificant one. He has 2 years remaining on his current contract, and if he doesn't raise his level of play in 2025, the Steelers may consider releasing him rather than pay him $17,600,000 in 2026. That doesn't necessarily mean reeling in a bunch of interceptions, but he has to make his mark somehow. After all, they're paying Elliott almost a third of that. With the new league year underway and the Steelers turning their roster over, it's once again time to take stock. It took a while, but we finally saw some of that change the team talked about after the season ended. Certainly, the move to trade for DK Metcalf qualifies as a change, not to mention the accompanying contract. Oh, and they also traded some guy named George Pickens, which people found significant. There is still a long way to go before we know what the Steelers team is going to look like. The dust is settled on both free agency and the 2025 NFL Draft. What other moves might the team make, perhaps unexpected acquisitions or departures? If they traded for one player, they could certainly trade for another, or trade one away. This is a Steelers team starving for postseason success, but how desperate are they for a playoff win in 2025? It wasn't TJ Watt, but the Pittsburgh Steelers signed a defensive starter to a new contract to begin this week. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Monday night that the Steelers agreed to a 2-year, $12.5 million extension with safety DeShon Elliott. The deal will include $9.21 million guaranteed. The Steelers and safety DeShon Elliott agreed to terms on a 2-year, $12.5 million extension, including $9.21 million in guarantees, per sources. After one of his best NFL seasons, Elliott finds a home in Pittsburgh on a deal done by C.J. LeBoy and Quincy Payton at Wasserman. Elliott spent his first season with the Steelers last year. The safety arguably experienced his best NFL season while making 14 starts. Elliott registered a career-best 108 combined tackles and 3 fumble recoveries. He also had 6 pass defenses, 4 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 quarterback hits, and an interception. The Steelers signed Elliott to a 2-year, $6 million contract last offseason. The safety now won't become a free agent until 2028. With the extension, Elliott's average annual salary will more than double, going from $3 million to $6.25 million. Steelers signed safety DeShon Elliott to contract extension. Elliott has grown into a solid NFL starter since being a Day 3 selection in the draft. But he was never a safety very well compensated by NFL standards. Last year was the first time Elliott received a multi-year contract that wasn't his rookie deal. Before 2024, Elliott was also always paid under $2 million per season. The veteran, though, deserved a raise for his performance last year. Elliott became a very reliable starter in the Pittsburgh secondary. He was also a vocal leader in the team's locker room. The Baltimore Ravens selected Elliott at number 190 overall in the 2018 NFL Draft. He made his NFL regular season debut during the 2019 season. Elliott earned a starting role on the Ravens defense in 2020. During that season, he started all 16 games. In 2021, Elliott was playing the best football of his career up to that point. However, he suffered a quadriceps injury in early October and then landed on injured reserve about a month later because of biceps and pectoral ailments. Following that season, the Ravens allowed Elliott to leave in free agency. He signed a one-year, $1.1 million contract with the Detroit Lions. Despite bouncing back with a strong 2022 campaign that saw him reach 96 combined tackles, Elliott again reached free agency. History repeated itself again. Elliott signed a one-year deal for roughly league minimum with the Miami Dolphins in 2023. He played very well as a starter but reached free agency again the following spring. That pattern has ended, though, with Elliott finding a home in Pittsburgh. In 72 NFL games, Elliott has posted 395 combined tackles, including 16 tackles for loss. He also has 23 pass defenses for interceptions and 3.5 sacks in his career. Elliott turned 28 years old in April. Steelers safety depth on off-season roster. With DeSean Elliott, Pittsburgh now has a strong pair of starting safeties. Elliott will again start next to former All-Pro Minkah Fitzpatrick this season. The Steelers, though, hope Fitzpatrick can reach his All-Pro level again in 2025. Although Fitzpatrick earned Pro Bowl bids in 2023 and 2024, he didn't make as many big plays. Fitzpatrick has 1 interception in his last 27 starts. Behind the pair of safeties, the Steelers have 2 more veterans in Miles Killebrew and Juan Thornhill. Killebrew made first-team All-Pro in 2023, but he almost exclusively plays on special teams. Thornhill is entering his first season with the Steelers. He won 2 Super Bowls as part of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. The 5th safety on Pittsburgh's offseason roster is Sebastian Castro. The Steelers signed Castro as an undrafted free agent after this year's draft. The Miami Dolphins are looking to rebound after an 8-9 campaign in 2024 that had them on the outside looking in on the playoffs. While last year didn't produce enough wins for the Dolphins, they did get a notable boost on offense from Jonnu Smith. The veteran tight end was unlocked in head coach Mike McDaniel's offense, registering career marks in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. All that led to his first career Pro Bowl nod, but now his future with the organization is in doubt. Smith, who is entering the final year of his contract, has been at the center of trade rumors amid negotiations with Miami's front office on a possible extension. He sat out of mandatory minicamp as the two sides seek some sort of resolution, but it doesn't sound like things have moved in any substantial direction. Nothing has been resolved yet, Drew Rosenhaus, Smith's agent, told WSVN 7 on Sunday of his client's contract talks with the Dolphins brass. It's still an ongoing situation. Rosenhaus also described the conversations with the organization as still fluid. That seems to leave the door open for an outcome that doesn't include Smith remaining in South Beach. If that's the road we're heading down, let's dive into a trio of logical landing spots that Smith could be dealt to. Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh has been the team most linked to Smith, with the Steelers and Dolphins reportedly having on-again, off-again trade discussions revolving around the veteran tight end. Of course, the tie between Smith and the Steelers is obvious, with Arthur Smith slotted in as the offensive coordinator. Not only did Smith coach him in Tennessee with the Titans, but the two also reunited in Atlanta when Smith was head coach for the Falcons. Clearly, there is an affinity for the player on the part of Smith, and he would give the Steelers another pass-catching weapon. While Pittsburgh traded for DK Metcalf earlier this offseason, they also dealt away George Pickens to the Cowboys. With Aaron Rodgers now in town, they'll likely need another outlet in the passing attack, which Smith could fill. Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles is currently slated to have the most amount of cap space in the NFL next offseason, which would make any sort of Smith extension, assuming him agreeing to one as part of any trade, more than palatable. He'd also bolster what is not the deepest tight end room that you'll find in the NFL. At the moment, Will Dissly is the top tight end on the Chargers' depth chart after a 2024 season during which he caught 50 balls for 481 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smith's production was about double what Dissly put together, so Justin Herbert would conceivably be getting an upgrade at that spot. They did add Tyler Conklin on a one-year, $3 million deal back in March, but that shouldn't preclude LA from this type of trade if it wanted to pursue it. Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles is currently slated to have the most amount of cap space in the NFL next offseason, which would make any sort of Smith extension, assuming him agreeing to one is part of any trade, more than palatable. He'd also bolster what is not the deepest tight end room that you'll find in the NFL. At the moment, Will Dissly is the top tight end on the Chargers' depth chart after a 2024 season during which he caught 50 balls for 481 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smith's production was about double what Dissly put together, so Justin Herbert would conceivably be getting an upgrade at that spot. They did add Tyler Conklin on a one-year, $3 million deal back in March, but that shouldn't preclude LA from this type of trade if it wanted to pursue it.